is here but one. Everybody's here online too, so we can get started. Some of you may remember Tricia, Donna, Patty, Beth, maybe Chrissy. I don't know, some of you that were at the original Half Moon Studio over near Aspen Grove may remember there was a point in time when we had vinyasa in Japanese. And we had 3 different Japanese teachers come in to teach in their language. And if you think about it, here in Nashville, we have Nissan, we have Bridgestone, we have certain companies that will allow families to come over and live for a couple years, work, and then go back home. And Franklin at that time really had a group of these people. And so when I found out one of them was teaching, a certified teacher, she asked if she could use the studio. I said, yes, of course. And there was like, 6 or 8 different women who were coming to do Japanese yoga while their husbands were working and while their kids were in preschool. So this one particular teacher gifted me a massage before she went back to Japan. And I can't remember the name of the massage, and I would tell you her name, but this was before Facebook, I'm not connected to these teachers anymore, so I don't even know their names, unfortunately. But I think it was Yukio. But she gifted me this massage where it wasn't a massage like I thought it was gonna be. We think deep tissue, Swedish, lymphatic, Anyway, it was basically, she just rocked me and shook my body from my shoulders down to my arms, my torso, down to my hips, from my hips, down my legs to my feet. It lasted an entire hour. You guys, it was one of the best body work things I've ever experienced. I felt like I just had a massage. It was amazing. And she told me that rocking and shaking was a technique they used in Japan to dispel, right, stress. And there are other techniques that are now being used with psychologists and have been used for a decade or more at this point, where you can release a lot of trapped stress, tension, and trauma, like tapping. I don't know if you've heard of tapping. But shaking is one of these things. And there's also a technique called TRE, where they do certain exercises to tense and release the muscles to dispel with this. And I know our yoga asanas are also designed as an avenue for dispelling this in our own bodies. Our breath work is a perfect way to create some purification and do some inner cleansing. And meditation is so medicinal for the mind to do karmic cleansing and to clear out the head. So I want to mention that today, because this is where our subject matter is going. And when I'm giving Reiki or when I'm receiving Reiki, you might have noticed when you've been the receiver, or you might have noticed when you've been the giver, that sometimes when you're working energetically with someone, all of a sudden their body will jump or twitch. Or to me, I look at it as a release in the nervous system. There's something that your body has been holding, something that's been trapped, and it gives it a way to release. Well, Saturday over the weekend, I had about an hour. It didn't freak me out, so I don't want it to freak you out, where I was going into like involuntary movement and shaking, almost like convulsions, but I was totally conscious, totally aware. It wasn't a seizure. I wasn't scared. There wasn't anything wrong. At the moment, I felt extremely safe. Like I feel safe in my home. I was with Rob. I felt safe in his arms. But all of this was happening involuntarily. And at the same time that was happening, I was having all kinds of sensory experiences. I was having visuals. I was having smells. The smells that were coming up was decay to a cat, to a dead fish, to the ocean, to perfume, to a rose, like all of these different smells. And then I was having all of these different emotions. from extreme sadness and sorrow to extreme joy and laughter. And it was everything. And Rob was just holding me. He was like, you know, are you okay? And I'm laughing. I'm going, I'm fine. I just don't know what's going on. And he was like, should I be worried? Should we call? I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm really good. Because I was also kind of, you know, trying to be intuitive and trying to talk to the other side and be like, what is happening here? And you guys, I really think I was processing and releasing trauma that has been held in my body. At least that's what it felt like. And that's the way I was justifying it. But I also felt like I was experiencing the trauma of the earth and with the collective at large. And I mean, I was even talking to the other side going, if my body's the vehicle to release some of this, then just use it, just let it go. And it lasted almost an hour. It was really freaky.
Yeah.
And I have been exhausted since then because I feel like so much was released, and then I worked all day yesterday. So I may crash when I go home today. But all this to be said that this is what's inspiring our practice for today, because if you think about it, there are days where we oversleep and then we're rushed to get the kids in order and out the door into school, or we're dealing with moody teenagers and their emotions, or we're dealing with our partner and what they're dealing with, and we're dealing with the bills mounting and responsibilities around the house, the chores around the house. Then we're leaving and we're dealing with rush hour traffic and you know, deadlines with work, and it just compiles and compiles and compiles. And then on top of that, all the information we're receiving, all the conversations we're having, and then throw in a recent pandemic with that. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. And then with the earth having the cyclones and the earthquakes and all these kind of natural disruptors occurring, it's a lot, and we're holding it. So I want you to set your intention to really and truly use this practice and every other practice as a way of processing and releasing, because that is part of the intention. Now, with that being said, I want to show you a move that we're going to be making. Some of you have done this with me in the past, but in case you don't remember, there's going to be one movement where we're rocking back and forth like this. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing into the floor with my feet to get my spine rocking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so that's one of the maneuvers we'll be doing in the start of the practice. And we'll begin on our backs. So if you don't mind, come down to your back, check in to see would it feel best to have your legs extended, feet fanned open, or does it feel better to have your knees bent? And sometimes if you feel it's better to have the knees bent, doing a little scooping of the belly, a little tucking of the tailbone can also be a nice additive. Just for a moment, I want you to think of the buildup of stress that you carried around maybe this morning, over the weekend, this past week, month, or several years. But then I want you to start to use the power of the breath. Breathing with depth and control. That's Debbie coming in. And as you use your conscious breath to dive in to your body, don't resist the urge to breathe out when you need to. But I want you to begin to create a pattern with your breath, so that as you're breathing in, you're counting to see what you arrive to, whether that's 4, 5, 6, or 7. And then I want you to breathe out to a double count. So if you get to 4, breathe out to 8. If you breathe into 5, breathe out to 10. I want you to breathe this way because whenever we are overly stressed, whenever we have experienced a trigger or trauma, the mind and body can have a disconnect. Typically, the neocortex, the limbic system, and the brainstem are all kind of working in conjunction together. But when something extreme happens, the neocortex shuts down. The limbic system takes over. The brainstem takes over, and that's when we go into fight, flight, or freeze. But the great thing about training ourselves here as yogis is we have the greatest tool available that you're performing right now, and that's the breath. The breath can help to reconnect the mind and body. The breath, controlled, can bring the neocortex back into play. And it can calm the nervous system down. And it's something right under the tip of our nose. All right, now on your next inhale, I want you to go ahead and bend your knees if you haven't already. Make sure there's nothing under your head for the rocking that we're going to do. Have your hands beside you, palms facing downward. And again, you're just pushing back and forth in your feet and rocking the spine up and down your mat. And I want you to find a rhythm with this. This rocking back and forth is a great way to open up the spinal fluid. And like anything in the body, just like anything, like a water hose, there can get kinks, right? We can develop things that disrupt our circulation in our arteries. There's things that can interrupt the energetic flow in the body, just like water flowing through a hose can get disrupted by one of those kinks. Do a little bit more, keep rocking. 3, 2, and 1. All right, now I want you to fly the feet up towards the ceiling with your knees bent. And I want you to lift your arms up in the air. You know, that's what they always say with hip hop songs, wave your arms in the air like you just don't care. That's what we're gonna do. So you're just gonna shake, shake, shimmy, and shake your arms, your hands, your legs, your feet. Shake it all out. And there's no right or wrong, rhyme or reason to this. You know, you're just shaking feet, shaking hands, shaking arms, shaking legs. I call this one June bug asana. Think about one of those June bugs that just get caught on their back and they're just waving their legs up in the air, trying to flip themselves over. So they discovered shaking is also good for bringing the synovial fluid into the joints. Let's do 3, 2, 1. And just hug your knees in, but keep your thighs wide apart. Coming into this tree frog position or stirrup pose. Come back to your breath work. And then lower the feet down to the ground to butterfly. Let your arms be in an A-frame position. Now we're going to do a TRE exercise. And it begins in this position, which is a yoga pose. So we're going to push down through the outer edges of the feet, and we're going to tuck and lift the buttocks away from the floor, similar to what you would do in bridge, except the knees are wide apart. So you're lifting into your bridge pose, but with butterfly legs. Hold yourself up. Know that when we're activating the glutes, we're toning and strengthening these muscles, but we're also toning and strengthening the low back. And you may get a few tremors, a little shaking, or quivers in your thighs or in your hips with this action. One more breath. All right, now slowly land your seat back to the floor. And then elevate your knees an inch or two. Keep breathing. And then elevate your knees another inch or two. Elevate the knees another inch or two. One more time, elevate the knees another inch or two. They're still apart. Good. Exhale, flop them open again. Recline butterfly. Oh, good. We're going to do that again. Push down through the outer edges of the feet, tuck and lift like you would in bridge pose, just as if you were going to think about putting a block underneath your sacrum, but you're doing this actively. Squeezing and lifting, holding and breathing. Now slowly lower. Relax the buttocks, soften your inner thighs. And then we're going to contract a little to elevate the knees an inch or two. Keep holding and breathing. Elevate the knees another inch or two. Another inch or two. And then one more round, another inch or two. Knees are still apart, the feet may be closed together. And then flop the knees open. We're going to do this one more round. Being in reclined, bound ankle, press down through the feet, tuck and lift away from the earth. So your little quivers and tremors may come into play when you're elevated here. It may come into play when we're elevating the knees once we lower back down. And you may not have an experience at all. It's going to be different for everyone. But maybe internally repeat to yourself, I choose and allow the release of any trapped tension or trauma out of my mind and body. Exhale, go ahead and release down to the floor. Soften a moment, give in to gravity. And then inhale, float your knees an inch or two upward. Again, drawing the knees another inch or two upward. again, another inch or two. And another. And one more. And then flop open and relax. While you're relaxing here, take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. I'm going to share with you a famous quote by a German philosopher. There is more wisdom in your body than in your deepest philosophy. And then recite internally, I trust the wisdom of my mind and body. All right, inhale, let's lift the knees up. Exhale, extend your legs out in front of you. Push out through the soles of the feet. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Point your toes at this point. Feel that morning stretch, the lift and sway of the low back. And then as you exhale, walk your feet over to the right corner of the mat. Swerve the upper body to the right corner of the mat. So you're making the crescent moon shape, or what's called banana asana. Now, I know in yin, they often cross the ankles, but if you ever talk to a nurse or doctor, they say, don't cross your ankles, it disrupts circulation. So I don't cross my ankles, but you can if you want to. I know it will give you a deeper stretch, so it depends on what you're going for. But I want you to breathe into your left side body, open up and fan those ribs apart as you inflate your lungs. And purifying the lungs as you breathe out. Keeping the shoulder blades, sits bones, and ankles at rest. On your next inhale, come to a more neutral place at the center of the mat. And then we'll take the feet over to the left side. And then we'll curve the upper body over to the left as well. So two-sided pose. Deep abdominal breaths. Noticing the difference between the two sides, noticing where the pockets of sensation show up. On one side, you may feel it more in your upper chest. Another side, you may feel it more in your waist. Notice where things are being deposited in your body. Inhale, return to center. And as you exhale, enclose both knees in towards your belly and chest. Coming into Apanasana, the wind release pose. Notice how it flattens out the low back. And then inhale, expand your arms to your sides. And then you'll discover here if you need your knees to be tucked in or a little further away as you roll them off to the left for a spinal twist. Also check in to see whether or not you need a prop to go underneath or in between your legs. Sometimes it's the shoulder that needs support. So if your right shoulder is really elevated and it's causing any discomfort, that's where you can slide a blanket below.
Sometimes if we just stretch out through the right arm, then it will allow the shoulder to lower. Open up the breath. And then inhale, draw the knees through the middle. And then exhale, send them over to the right. Similar adjustments if you need it here. On your next in-breath, contract your belly, draw the knees back up. Take your hands on top of the knees and then circle them around and around. Massaging that area of the back where you were experiencing the majority of that twist. And then reverse the circles. And then land down to one side of your body and slowly build your way up to sits.
And then we're gonna come right up to stand. So when you come up to stand, we're gonna do a couple more of these TRE exercises. And the first one, be careful, those of you that have had knee surgery with us, by the way. You know, only go as far as you feel comfortable doing, but you see what I'm doing? I'm rolling to the edges of the feet to one side, and I'm rolling to the edges of the feet on the other side. You're just kind of rolling back and forth. This is work for the ankles. You are shifting your feet through the process, rolling to the inner edge of one, to the outer edge of the other. Good. Come back and step back with your right foot. And you're not going to step back very far. It's kind of close actually to your standing leg because we're going to work the calf muscles. So as you inhale, lift your left heel off the floor and exhale, release. We're doing this 7 times. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you're close to a wall, you can always hold on to something or a piece of furniture. All right, we're going to step back a little bit farther with the right foot. Take the hands to the hips this time. You have a little lunge in the front knee, nothing dramatic. And then what we're going to do is drop the seat like we're about to sit in a chair. And then inhale, we pop up. Exhale, lower. And inhale, pop up. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, good. Step forward with the right foot. Step just a baby step back with your left. This is the calf work. So inhale, lifting the right heel. Exhale, lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, step back a little bit extra. Bend that front knee so it stays bent when we drop and come up. So drop lower and then inhale up. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Good. Step up. Now, we're going to shake out the right foot standing on the left leg. Again, if you need a wall or a piece of furniture to lean on, you can do that. And shake it all the way up. What was it, hokey pokey, where they shake it all around? Except we're not turning around. And stand on the right foot. Shake out the left foot. They probably didn't know the shaking was so good for you. And it really opens up the energy too. All right, now stand on your left foot, shake out your right hand. Shake out your right arm and shoulder. So if you ever get to attend class with a yoga teacher called, oh my goodness, I just forgot his name, Saul David Ray. He always starts with shaking. All right, left hand. Left arm. Bring it up into the shoulders. Now both arms. Shimmy the shoulders. Shimmy the hips. Shake it all out. The arms can go above, below. No right or wrong. Total freestyle. Total crazy. All right, let it go. Feel it. So feel it. Feel the energy that we're sparking inside. All right, we're going to do a twisting kriya. You guys have done this with me before. Keep your knees relaxed and you're just swinging your arms side to side. You're taking a twist. And I want to remind you that this could be excellent. I don't know what everybody does here or if you even work at all. But you know, if you know any physicians or nurses that have to work the night shift, think about how tiring that would be. And taking all those rounds, all that paperwork, I guess now it's computer work. But think about how tired the eyes would get, you know, or if you're working at your desk for long periods, how fatigued your mind gets, how your eyes start to go cross-eyed, right? Or if you're doing a long drive somewhere.
That's why people who work midnights gain weight.
It's true. Oh, that's true, yeah. Because that's the time to rest and digest.
Food is sleep, right? If you're tired, you eat something sugary, you feel better.
So now slow it down. All right, come back to center. And it, that almost gives you like a blood rush to the head. It may make you just slightly lightheaded. It goes away very quickly, so don't be concerned. But it gives you that boost of energy. All right, separate your feet as wide as the sticky mat. So there was a gentleman that's been coming to my class for over a year at a different studio, and he said, oh my God, last week you said something that just worked. You said hinge from your hips up your waist. It changed his whole forward folds. I say that all the time, but he heard it the one day where it stuck, right? So take your hands to that hip crease. So we're all pushing the tailbone back. Hinge forward. This is where we want to fold. That's the hips. Continue to release the arms, and don't worry if they touch the floor or not. It's not really the point. But you are taking a standing forward fold. And I want you to realize that here, we're really just in a stretch. And that's one reason I tell you to try to plug the feet down, to drill the feet down, to push into the inner heel, the outer heel, the mound of the big toe, the mound of the pinky toe. So when you activate your feet, you actually activate more muscles and you're getting the blend of strength and stretch together. So you can do one or the other, but notice what your habit is. Let's take 3 deep breaths. You can breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Or you can breathe in and out through the nose. Last one. And then bring your torso and sweep it over to your left leg. Again, your arms can hang down, or you can catch your foot or calf. If you want something to hang on to. 3 deep breaths here. So this is yoga, but this is also something they use in TRE to help to reduce trapped tension and trauma in the body. All right, let's semicircle over to the right. Same idea. Angling yourself this direction, taking 3 deep yogic breaths. Back to center. Take your hands now up to your hips and slowly build your way up. Once you build your way up, you're going to bring the feet together at the top of the mat. Hands to prayer position at your hearts. Inhale, let your arms circle wide and overhead. Your palms can face each other. Press down through the feet, engage through your legs, engage through your core. And then exhale, bring the hands together and start to fold straight down. And your legs should be structured unless you have some low back pain. If you have that low back pain, the knees bent, may feel better. You can experiment. If you feel a deep pull closer to your sits bones, you can try softening your knees to see if that makes it feel better. Inhale, slide your hands up your shins, lengthen out to the vertebrae. Exhale, forward, back over and down to your Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. Inhale, we're going to step back to plank. And when you're holding plank, you're pushing the floor away from you with your hands. And that's going to lock the arms and make them strong like columns. When you're really pushing the floor away from you with your hands, you should also feel your upper back broaden and engage. Almost like you're going to go to cat stretch, but you're not, because the head is still in line with the rest of the vertebrae. All right, exhale. Let's pull the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Fine tune your alignment if you need to. For instance, with your feet. Are your feet too wide? I have about 4 inches between the big toes. Press down through the feet and allow your sits bones to lift a little higher. And it's okay to have the knees bent here. Take 1 more deep breath in downward facing dog. And when you're ready, traveling the feet forward towards the top of the mat. Once you arrive, slide your hands up your shins, lengthen out through the vertebrae. Exhale, drape back over and down. Inhale, coming all the way up to the top. Now gaze up towards your hands. And then exhale, bring hands down to heart center. All right, we're going to step back with the right foot. Now, when you step back with the right foot, you're going to lunge into that left knee. Power down through the feet to stabilize your legs. Roll open through your left eye. Build your arms up, Virabhadrasana 1, and have your head floating over your shoulders over your hips. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, open your arms, open your heart, and gaze up. Take another breath here. Inhale, realign the vertebrae. Extend your arms back up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands together and lean forward in a diagonal line. Now glance down at that front knee. It should be facing the center of the foot. Press hard through that front foot. When you're doing that, you might even get a little quiver and shake through your quads. Inhale, bring yourself back up, warrior one. Exhale, hang back. Open the gates of the heart. Gaze up and breathe. Inhale, reach the arms back up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart, diagonal line as you lean forward. Pressurize your back foot. Feel the strength in your back calf muscles. And then step up to the front. All right, lift and elevate your right heel. Stand on the toes. Soften your shoulders away from your earlobes. And slowly pick up the right knee, flex out the right ankle. Padangusthasana egg. If you lift the knee too high, you may start to compromise your standing leg and start to tuck the tailbone. So make sure that your left hip, knee, and ankle stay stacked. Gaze at one point and breathe. Now sink the right foot down, but not all your weight onto the foot because your hands are going to come to your hips. We're still standing on the left leg. You're going to elevate the right knee again, except this time you're going to extend out through the foot. Maybe spread the toes. Maybe push through the padding right above the arch. Padangusthasana D. Breathe. Good. Lower the back foot down, or the right foot down. All right, how are we doing? Okay. You're hot? We need some air? Okay, inhale, set your left foot back. Oh yeah, it's only 76.
Yeah.
That's true. Did you hear Betsy? I'm not gonna say it. Chrissy knows. Lunge that right knee. All right, inhale, arms up. Okay, so again, it's very easy to stand here. So a few of us in this room came to Bharati's workshop, and Renee got some pointers from her, right? And the pointers from her was she's very flexible. And it's easy for her to do yoga. It's easy for her to do stretches. What's difficult for her is the strength. And that's why I put so much emphasis on what you're doing with your feet in standing poses. Because if you're really working your feet, it's going to bring strength to the bones and the muscles of the legs. All right, from Virabhadrasana 1, hang back. Open the gates of the heart. Puff the chest forward. Only lean the head back enough that's comfortable for your neck. And then inhale, draw the arms back up to frame the face. Exhale, hands to heart, lean out. But it's like your back foot is cemented to the floor. Good, inhale, arms up, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, arch back. Breathe. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart, lean forward. Build your strength, build your endurance, build your stamina. Good, inhale, warrior 1. I think we did 3 on the last one, so we'll do 3 here. Exhale, hang back. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hands together, lean forward, breathe here. And then peel the back foot off the floor and step it up. Don't put all your weight on it. We're gonna still stay stacked and standing on the right leg. Picking up the left knee, flexing out the left ankle. Attempting not to tuck the tailbone. So that low back stays more neutral. And breathe. All right, step the left foot down, but not all the way, hands to the hips. We'll elevate the knee again, just long enough to go to Padangusthasana D. Spread the toes. It's almost like you're pedaling forward with that foot. Find your drishti points. You're focusing your eyes. And then release. Okay, walk it out with your feet. All right, now step back with your right foot and heel toe it back just a little bit. So you have a longer distance between the feet. Bring the hands to the heart, lift them up overhead, and then separate them out, Virabhadrasana 2. Now look down at your front knee, roll open through the thighs so you can see the big toe. Draw up through the lower belly, and notice how lifting through the belly engages the right side of your glutes more. Good, now lift your left arm, hang back, look up. Exhale, come to side angle. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 2, stop in the middle. Zip up through the lower belly. Inhale, side warrior. Exhale, side angle. All right, we're gonna do one more. Inhale, warrior 2. Zip up through the lower belly. Flip the left hand. Exhale, side angle. Good, inhale, draw up. Turn your left foot in. Relax your arms a moment. Let's turn the right foot out. We'll take it the other direction. Lunge the right knee. Take your arms out, shoulder height. Your back left thigh is plugging in towards your thigh bone. Your right thigh is opening out to see the big toe. And then zip up through the lower belly. Good, inhale, lift your right arm. Why don't turn the air on? I don't think it happened. Exhale, side angle. We're gonna be cooling down in a moment. I know right now we're heating it up. Inhale, warrior 2. Zip up through the lower belly. Inhale, side warrior. Exhale, side angle. Good, one more set. Inhale, warrior 2. Zip up through the midriff. Take it back, side warrior. Coming down, side angle. Good, inhale, bring it up. Straighten the right leg, turn that foot in. Turn your left foot out and step up to the front. All right, shake it out if you need to. We're gonna use our blocks today for balance. So your block is gonna be to the outside of your left foot. You're gonna bend both knees. And you're gonna hook your right leg over and stand the right foot on the block. Yeah, and squeeze the inner thighs. And then see if you can hook your right arm under your left. If that's too much, you can have your hands to prayer. You can also give yourself a hug. So if your arms are touching your chest, see if you can lift the elbows. Breathe, Garudasana. Release the arms and stand up. Good, now take your block to the outside of the right foot. Same thing. Bend the knees, sit back with your hips. Cross the left leg over and use the platform of the block. And then determine, do I want my hands to be in prayer? Do I want it to be crossed like a hug? Or do I want my left arm underneath the right for eagle arms? You get to choose. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Cross. Good. Keep the block on the right side. Stand your right foot on top. Turn the knee open. Okay, so it's kind of like tree. Your right hand is going to be on the inside of your thigh. Your left arm is going to reach up towards the sky, and you're curving over. Now take your top hand, index finger, thumb together, Jnana Mudra for wisdom, and you can also do that in your right hand at your knee. We used to do this with the foot propped on the chair. And then inhale up, exhale, release. All right, we'll stand the left foot on top of the block and rotate open from the hip. The knee flares away. Left hand to the inside, right arm up towards the sky, curve to your left. Jnana Mudra for wisdom. I trust the wisdom of my mind and body. And think about what the German philosopher said. The body holds more wisdom than our deepest philosophy. And exhale, release. Okay, I'm going to give you a choice for squats. First choice, regular squat. Second choice, sit on the block. Third choice, come on down. I'm actually going to do the third choice today. So you can hover, regular way, Chris is doing it. You can sit on the block, what Betsy's doing. Or you can sit on the floor like I'm doing. Now, if you're sitting on the floor, your hands will be at your heart, your elbows and your knees, and then you'll lift up through the top of your head. And you can feel it in the same space that you would as if you were hovering. But it does require lifting your back up. Now, those of you hovering or on a block, take your time coming down to the floor. When you come down to the floor, find something to sit on. We're going to do a little tap. So have your dominant hand, whatever that is, tapping your non-dominant hand underneath the wrist. So you're just tapping, tapping, tapping with your fingertips. Then affirm mentally with it. I choose to release any trapped tension or trauma away from my mind and body. I allow any trapped tension or trauma to be released from my mind and body. Be happy. Trust the wisdom of my mind and body. All right, we're going to take it to the third eye region. I choose to release any trapped tension or trauma from my mind and body. I allow myself to release any trapped tension
trauma from my body. Trust the wisdom of my mind and body. Take it to the outer, like near the temple, kind of, like to the outer corner of the eye. Choose to release any trapped tension or trauma from my mind and body. I allow the release of any trapped tension or trauma from my mind and body. Trust the wisdom of my mind and body. I am safe. And then tapping to your higher cheek and under your eye. Choose to release any trapped tension or trauma from my mind and body. I allow the release of any trapped tension or trauma from my mind and body. I trust the wisdom of my mind and body. I trust the wisdom of my heart and soul. I am safe. Then bring it to the space between your nose and your upper lip. Choose to release any trapped tension or trauma from my mind and body. I allow the release of any tension or trauma from my body. I trust the wisdom of my mind. I trust the wisdom of my heart and soul. I am safe. To your chin. Firm. I choose to release any trapped tension or trauma from my body. I allow the release of any trapped tension or trauma from my mind and body. Trust the wisdom of my mind and body. Trust the wisdom of my heart and soul. I'm safe. I'm safe. And then the mini necklace is out of the way. Start tapping your upper chest. This is our last one. I choose to release any trapped tension, trauma from my mind and body. I allow the release of any tension or trauma from my mind and body. Trust wisdom of my mind and body. Trust the wisdom of my heart and soul. I'm safe. I'm safe. I am safe, sound, and release. Now, sometimes tapping can put you into a state where you can easily start to meditate sitting up. But I know at the end of yoga, we typically lie down. So I'm going to let you choose whether or not you want to stay sitting today or if you want to recline. Either way, you want to sit or lie down in a comfortable manner. Usually that requires some propping, some kind of support. But then remember, your greatest support can be your breath. whether you're sitting or reclining, let your breath fall into a more natural pace that you can observe. Just as you're observing the breath, you're also observing whatever comes to the forefront of the mind. Equally observing any feelings that you experience, but without getting too attached. Part of the practice of meditation is to be able to become aware of what's there, but then knowing that we have the control of whether or not we want to give it more life, more energy. Most of the things that come up aren't worth or worthy of our attention. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I release you. Be your inner mantra. flow of our breath. If you've been reclined, you can slowly begin to exit out of the pose. Join the rest of us who are sitting. Once you're sitting upright, check in to see how you feel from the inside out. Close our practice together by bringing the hands to Anjali Mudra. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thanks so much for joining today.